Locking in is an essential part of being an artist. In the words of Fujiko, if only draw from their personal experience is most likely to get repetitive in storytelling, you must create manga based not on your experience but on discrete research. With that, the possibilities of your creation will be expand endlessly. So what it means to me when focusing on, your manga is that if you don't focus enough or you don't really just lock in, you'll be looking for the usual, trying to tell stories from things you have experienced and trying to make them exciting. But the thing about that is it can just become repetitive over and over again. Sometimes people don't just want to hear what your personal experience is, but how you can just tell a fantasy story or something like that. But I will say there are drawbacks to locking in. It's about basically how deep in you lock in, because this can either be a great success if you know what to do beforehand, or something that can burn you out completely if you don't plan before. So listen, lock in, and be like Crollo, and I will personally teach you the best way, in my opinion, how to not burn out while locking in and focusing to get that work done. Let's get into it. So in the background that you see right now is a little manga that I did. Nothing too, difficult, nothing too detailed, just a little one-page manga. Okay, I want y'all to remember something very, very important. There are many ways to lock in. There are many ways to focus, and there are many ways to get things like manga, storytelling, and just, things in general to get done. Here's how I did mine. Now, when you're looking at the page I'm drawing for this manga, right? It looks simple, 3 panels, no words, just the poses and facial features, right? I'm going to show y'all what I put on the page before I started drawing the poses. Do not laugh, don't say anything about anything I put on, okay? I'm about to show y'all the little script that I made that helps me out personally. Okay, so look, rule number 1 when it comes to locking in and focusing, right? You don't always have to put pictures first, okay? I tried that, and I'm not gonna lie, it didn't work out for me, right? So basically, with this script that I do this for like all the mangas that I'm trying to do, or just any manga that I'll do in the future, or comic, yada yada yada. But basically, right, I learned that, some mangas or some comic artists, they will, draw like settle-ins, right? Settle-ins. They're basically like placeholders. I didn't really like that, so I just tried writing what they were doing within that specific panel. I liked it, but I also wanted, to also draw a few figures. So basically that's what I did. For, some panels I'll have some words, for others I'll have poses or just something as a placeholder so I can know what that character's doing. Because like, in a way, actions can describe more than words, but words are more detailed in describing something. You understand what I'm saying? This one's kind of hard for me to say. And basically what this allows me to do is really just, focus, because now I know what they're gonna do, I know what they're gonna say, I know what poses or emotions they're going to do, and it should be a breeze. But it doesn't always start out like that. Okay, y'all, and this is the most important part. This is what I call planning beforehand, because like sometimes, you'll think to yourself, like, for example, when I was making this, I was like, okay, I just want to make this one page and I want to be done. But as I was drawing it, and when I came to be like, to be done, I was like, wait, I really do want to continue this. Like, I didn't really plan that far. And that's what a lot of people slip up with. They plan a story, it will be like maybe 4, 3, 5 pages long, right? And it'll be like, oh my goodness, wait, this story's actually so good, or maybe, maybe it'll get like a lot of positive feedback. But then it's like, wait a minute, I didn't really think this far, and I had to lock in to get this, page done. And now it's just like, well, I want to do more, but I'm just so burnt out. Like, if you've been there, you've been there. You know what I'm talking about. That's why I plan beforehand is immaculate. Because as I was doing this, and when I got done, I was like, wait a minute, I really could make this into something, but do I just keep going forward, or do I do another page, but it's like, you know, a little bit of their backstory, like what they were doing before this. And now I'm just like sitting here contemplating, like I can do this, I can do that. And you know what, before this video ends, let me give y'all one more piece of advice, one more rule. And this one is the most, you know, important one. And that is, you just gotta be freaky with it sometimes, okay? You gotta be freaky. Now look, I know it sounds weird, but you gotta understand this. Majority of the mangakas and comic book artists you look up to are freaks, okay? And here's the thing, it's not always like, you know, something perverted. You could be like a freaky obsessed person with romance or a type of genre. And like, for example, me, I'm a freak about romance mangas, okay? I just love them. I'm obsessed with them. So just be a freak and that energy will pay off, trust me. Hey, what are you doing? Stop. No, wait, I'm sorry. No, wait, y'all, it's not like this. Nah, stop, please, don't do it. No. I like men. No.